Welcome everyone to episode 68 of the VoiceOFpunk. I'm your host, DJFpunk. Before I get started, I want to apologize for the quality of this video. I'm having a lot of troubles with my webcam and everything like that. But anyway, I just finished watching the new Sons of Anarchy episode, The Separation of Crows. And in this episode, I thought it was pretty intense, despite not having many action scenes in it. It had what I mean by it was intense. It was intense without action scenes because this episode really showed the walls closing in on Jax, and which was really a fine thing to see because I liked seeing that Jax is now there's now the consequences, like more and more dire consequences for his actions. You kind of get that at the end of the last episode where Bobby is kidnapped pretty much, but in this one it really you can see his actions and the consequences of Jax's actions are really taking its toll on him and on the club. Basically what this episode is about is about them trying to find the person who ratted them out to the Chinese. And like in this episode, you find out that the kid who the club killed in the second episode was in fact Curry's son. And Jury, if the video is really bad, guys, I apologize. I don't know what's going on with my webcam, but I tried to do this video like 4 times already, and it kept on screwing up on me. So it's the best I can do right now. But you find out that the son, you find out that the kid who the sons killed was in fact the son of Jury. I think you find that out from, I think it was his ex-wife or his ex-girlfriend. I can't really remember how they really said it, but fuck, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, and so you find, and I like where even Jax is like, well, why didn't you tell Jury that this is your son? And Jury had a pretty good explanation. It was like I think he said he just met him too, and like he only saw him twice, and like not even his own club knew that was his kid, and and Jury himself was starting to get to know his son. So basically, he was like his long lost son, pretty much. And what then I like about the scene where Jax and Jury meet up is where what then I love about this is that not only if this is a really intense scene, but it really goes it mentions a element to the story that wasn't really brought in since season 4, and that was the manuscript. JT's manuscript. I like that Jury brings it back. He mentions it saying I was your dad's friend before, and I knew about his book. I never read it, but I know about it, and I know that he's rolling in his grave right now of what the club has turned into and what you have turned into, Jax. And I thought that was a very very great scene, and because at this point in the scene, Jax is convinced that Jury was the one who ratted out the club, and but Jiri even admits saying, "I want you dead, Jax. Like I wanted you dead, but I ain't no rat." And so Jiri says he was the one who ratted out, but then he starts talking about Jax's father and how JT will be disappointed at him and everything like that. It gets to the point where Jax punches Jiri in the face and then takes out his gun and fucking shoots Jiri right in the head, which I thought was fucking brutal. Like, it was brutal for me because I didn't see that coming. In fact, actually, when it happened, I didn't even know that he killed Jiri. I just thought he shot him in the ear. But mostly because it was how the camera angle was. The camera angle, it kind of made it look like he shot him in the ear and stuff. But with Jax killing Jiri, I just know that's going to be a big, big blowback on the club. Not only did Jax kill a member of Sam Crow, he also killed a president of one of his charters without any ruling or nothing, without no votes. And, he quickly says, he admitted he was the rat and stuff, but of course it didn't happen. It was all sort of impulse. And that really raises the question, who is the rat? If it wasn't Jiri, then who was? I know a lot of people are going to say, like, well, yeah, obviously it has to be of RoboCop, Brodsky. It almost has to be him now. But I also heard a lot of other theories, which is really, people should really look into. One of the theories that makes most sense to me is the rat is probably Tig. Yeah. Maybe the rat is Tig. And it would be shocking, but as I read this theory, it would be very believable. From, one thing, Tig was Clay's right hand. He was his right hand man, Tig was. And Jack set him up with August Marks, and that was in season 6, and we don't know what happened. We don't know how Tig was able to save himself and why August Marks did not kill him, because we don't see that scene. And Tig has very well probably made a deal with August Marks, being his rat. Some other people saying it could be Nero, which I wouldn't be surprised if the rat was Nero, but at the same time, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense at all. But fuck, goddamn my fucking accent. But but it's shit. But like, with Nero, it doesn't make any sense at all because it's mostly it's just what's happened to Nero these past few seasons, that yeah, he could be the rat, but at the same time you would have to make it plausible without making plot holes, if that makes any sense. And then one of the biggest shockers was some people said, what if it's Chibs being the rat? That could be a possibility too. I think that'll be the most shocking. Like, if Kurt Sutter wanted to go with shock value, he can very easily make Chibs the rat. Maybe he can even go if he was a rat the entire time. He was like a undercover cop, But we don't know, and quite frankly, I would say that God, the quality of this video is really bugging me. But if Chibs was the rat, wow, that would be That'd be pretty brutal, actually. It'd be a huge stab in the back, I think. But it would it would be very cool. So with all that happening, you got Bobby being tortured, which is really hard to watch. Those of you who know me, I'm a big fan of Bobby, and I think it's pretty obvious Bobby is not going to make it out this season. I don't think Bobby is going to live the show. I would say by episode 10, he's dead. I don't know, maybe he gets killed by August Marks, or he gets himself killed by, like, sacrificing himself, but I'm convinced and I have accepted that Bobby is most likely going to die. It's a hard pill to swallow, but with everything's going on, I think Bobby is a goner. One of the subplot of this episode is that Abel is getting into more trouble at school. See, Wendy gets a call saying, like, the teachers need either Gemma or Jax at Abel's place, at Abel's school, because Abel has hit a kid right in the side of the head with his metal lunchbox for no reason. And, of course, the teachers say, maybe we should put Abel into some counseling, because he's obviously taking the death of his mother hard. Which, of course, that's a logical thing to do. Your little 5-year-old kid is fucking snapping at school and hitting people to head with punch boxes. Yeah, get the kid some help, man. Jesus Christ. But of course, Gemma being Gemma is all like, I'm not letting people raise my kids, raise my grandkids, fuck you, and you, fucking teachers, you think you know everything, fuck you, suck my dick, which, well, really made me roll my eyes, because it's so funny, because both me and my girlfriend, we have a huge crush on Katie Seagal. Both me and my girlfriend do. What can we say? She is hot. She is hot. Okay, she's really hot. But the character Gemma is so frustrating right now. But it's kudos to Katie Seagal. She's making this character so unlikable, but she's doing her job. And then, like, when Gemma takes Abel home, she sits him down and she says, why do you hit him? Was this kid bugging you? Was he bullying you? And Abel says, I don't know, I just didn't like him. Which, warning sign. But anyway, but yeah, and then he says, it was an accident. And it's part of one of the best parts of this episode is where Gemma says, Abel, do you know the difference between what is a accident? And Abel just looks at her, little 5-year-old kid, looks at Gemma and says, do you? And I thought that was fucking awesome. I was like, hell yeah, little man, good job. Because, in the last episode, Abel overheard Gemma. He overheard Gemma confessing that she killed Tara. And then Gemma, she can't stand it. She gets up, she walks to her room, she finds her birds dead. Which, automatically at first, I thought it was Abel who did it. But then you find out that in Thomas and Abel's room, there is a teddy bear nailed to the wall with a slogan under it saying, no son is safe. Which either says that, August Marks was there, or somebody else did it. And some people said it was probably Nero who killed the birds and put that message in the room, because he says, like, he tells Wendy later on that what he tells Wendy later on, saying, like, do you think Jax and Gemma will have the kids here after that? And, it's probably possible that Nero could go that far, because he is a good guy. I'm not gonna, he is a good guy, but he does have a dark side, and the dark side comes out when there's kids, if kids are being threatened, or like people he cares about are being threatened. That dark side comes out, and he's going to do whatever he can. So I would not be surprised if that was Nero who did that, to scare Gemma into saying, okay, we need to go. Before I actually end this, I want to talk about Unser. See, Juice still gives false information, and it's kind of frustrating, but Unser doesn't buy it. No. Unser says something doesn't make sense between Gemma and Juice's story about the night Tara was killed. And I want to say this is a very interesting beat that happened, was where after they have a talk with Juice, Unser and the sheriff have a talk with Juice. Juice leaves, and Unser just kind of has like not really a far away look in his eye, but almost like a sad, defeated, and accepting look. It's almost like he knows that Juice and Gemma are lying, and that Gemma most likely killed Tara. It's like I don't know if it's supposed to mean that he knows or he has a feeling, and he's accepting it if it's the truth. And I hope that Unser is the one who cracks the case, because I think that'd be so fucking cool. But so yeah, those are my thoughts on these episodes. On this episode, that was really good. Very intense episode. A lot more character driven, which is, it's fine. And yeah, the last season of the show is, I would say the last season right now is very it's very polarizing, and I don't really know how I really feel about this season, to tell you the truth. I like some of the episodes, but at the same time, I don't know. It's a weird last season. I'm going to say it's weird. But I'm along for the ride, and I can't wait to see next week's episode. So I will see you guys next week. I enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you guys next week with some more Sons of Anarchy goodness. Bye, guys.